Hello everyone! I hope everyone had a lovely holiday season and a happy new year. Mine surely was, and busy. Anywho, to start the year off the right way, I've just the recipe. These crispy enoki mushrooms with sesame dipping sauce. They're super easy to make, they're affordable, and most importantly, very delicious. So, let's get into it. To begin, let's look at our enoki mushrooms, in case you aren't familiar with them. They're a lovely, almost noodle-like Asian variety mushroom in both look and texture, and they come in a big clump like this. What we're going to want to do is cut off this bottom part with the dirt on it, but not too far in, because we need some of this base to hold them together when we separate them into smaller, more bite-sized bunches, like this. You can make these as big or small as you like. I generally like them on the smaller side so they're more crispy and they cook faster, but you do you. Just be gentle with them because they are a bit fragile. We need these bundles to stay together or it'll be quite a hassle when it comes to cooking them. We also want them to be equal in size, so they cook at similar rates. Now, we're going to need 3 main components besides our mushrooms to complete our dish, which we'll deal with first before we start cooking. A batter for the mushrooms, a seasoning blend to coat them with afterwards, and that sesame dipping sauce I mentioned earlier. So let's start with our sesame dipping sauce. It gets tastier after it had a little time to sit. This one's really easy, just everything all in at once, then blend it until smooth. If you have toasted sesame seeds, just use those, but toasting your own raw sesame seeds always results in much better flavor, so I recommend that. It's as easy as adding your sesame seeds to a dry pan over medium heat, and just tossing them around a little bit for a couple minutes until you see them slightly color. Now, into our blender goes our freshly toasted sesame seeds, a little rice wine vinegar for acidity, a little soy sauce for its salty and savory flavor, a little chili oil crisp. This is my homemade one, but something like Laogan Ma or really any chili sauce will do. If you don't like chili, just leave it out, by all means. And my secret ingredient, dashi. Dashi is a tuna stock used in many Asian cuisines, and it's a great ingredient to have on hand. It's just like stock or bouillon, just fish flavored. If you don't have it, that's totally fine. Some vegetable or chicken stock would work great too. Just blend it together until smooth and you're good to go. This sauce makes for a great salad dressing too. Alright, so now let's make our simple seasoning blend. After our mushrooms fry up, we'll want to coat them in something while they're still hot, and this seasoning blend is exactly what we want. It couldn't be easier and more delicious, and it's great on a ton of things, just like our sauces. All we're going to do is mix salt, sugar, white pepper, and MSG. The MSG is optional, but if you've watched me for any amount of time, you'll know that it really isn't, so just go get yourself some. You won't regret it. Now I'd say we're ready to make our batter. We'll just mix our flour, cornstarch, and water, and mix that together until it's smooth and has the consistency of pancake batter. Not too thick, not too runny. Like this. If it's too thick or too runny, just add a little bit more flour or a little bit more water. And then we'll get this into the refrigerator until we need it. The colder the better when it comes to batter. Alright, we have all of our components, so I think we're ready to fry. We'll be shallow frying these, so in a pan, ideally with a decent edge around the sides, over medium heat, add a decent amount of oil to coat the bottom. Once our pan is up to temperature, which you can test by using a thermometer, or just by adding a little droplet of your batter into the oil and seeing if it fries, like so, we can begin gently battering our mushrooms and getting them into the pan. You can see how that little droplet of batter is frying pretty well. That's a good sign our oil is hot enough. I've also grabbed a tray and this rack just to put our finished mushrooms on. They cook pretty quickly, so it's good to have something to receive them as we remove them from the pan. I find that using chopsticks or kitchen tweezers works best for this, but a fork will do as well. So just gently add your mushroom clumps 1 or 2 at a time into your batter, and using the side of the bowl to help rub off any excess batter before adding them right into the oil. They should sizzle and fry immediately. If they don't, your oil is too cold, and whatever you're frying is going to end up soggy. You also don't want to overcrowd your pan. Just do a few at a time and give them space. If it's too crowded, they'll stick together and not fry properly because the more stuff you fry in the oil, the lower the temperature drops. You can see how these are getting a beautiful golden brown color. That's what we're shooting for. Our mushrooms don't really need a lot of cooking. These Enoki mushrooms can be safely eaten uncooked, so we're just focusing on crisping up our batter. Enoki mushrooms have a surprisingly resilient texture. Even after heavy cooking, they maintain a satisfying, slightly stringy texture, but in a good way. Okay, these are looking beautiful. Golden brown, crispy, and ready for our special seasoning. We'll just sprinkle a little bit on each side while they're hot so it sticks on there. Don't skimp out on this. We didn't season the batter at all, so this seasoning really is carrying a lot of weight. And we want every part of this mushroom to be coated with it. Let's see how we did. Yep, so that's very crispy, and yep, that's insanely delicious. Let's give it a go with our sauce. Yep, that's incredible. Making these should be your New Year's resolution. You owe it to yourself. It's amazing how a few simple ingredients, combined with a little technique, can turn out so delicious. This recipe is definitely greater than the sum of its parts. The same recipe could also be used for a variety of vegetables. I could see this working great with zucchini, sweet potatoes, onions, cauliflower, granted they're cut thin enough to cook through. Alright, so that's how you make my crispy and delicious enoki mushrooms with sesame sauce. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did, because I know I'm starting out my year right with these fun guys. Get it? Fun guys. Like fungi. Because of the mushroom. Never mind. If you want to help me make more videos like this, liking, subscribing, and straight up commenting about what you'd like to see in a future video really helps me out. Thanks for everyone who's followed me throughout the last year, and I look forward to another year sharing my recipes with you. And as always, thanks for watching.